Hi everyone, and welcome back for another video. Today, I just want to talk about what I'm dubbing fusion fatigue. Now, if you've just finished the Tholin Foulbeard fusion, then congratulations. It was a bit of a slog. Most fusions are these days, but you've got your hands on a good champion, and ultimately, fusions are a good thing. It's a great way to get a legendary. Most of the time, they're pretty good, or if they're not good per se, they're usually at least unique and will bring something to your account. Now, as far as Tholin goes, I still stand kind of on the fence about him. He is a really good damage dealer. He ramps up his own damage. In a long fight, you're definitely going to see advantages for having him. But is he a great fusion? I'm going to go with no. Maybe give me a few weeks to try him. Maybe I'll just kind of fall in love with him and everything will be fine, but he is just a DPS. When you compare him to someone like Fabian that we had for the 6th anniversary, there's kind of no contest really. However, he's good. I'm glad I've got him. I kind of needed a Force Affinity Dwarf. That's definitely lacking on my account anyway, as actually is generally DPS champions. I'm much more focused on building support, and that just sort of seems to be the way the gear rolls for me. However, it is exhausting and it is expensive. And, when I say expensive, I mainly mean resources. But obviously, if you're behind on resources, it's probably going to get expensive in real life money. So for today, I just thought I'll use this as an example or a little bit of an opportunity to just decompress a little bit. Now, we've just had what feels like 2 solid weeks of fusion. It's constant gear grinding. It's gear rolling. It's arena. It's shard pulling. It's a lot. And then, as is kind of the new way with Raid and has been for probably about a year now, as soon as it's done, we get the Titan Slayer event for the soul. So it's almost like now doing a fusion and then another fusion. And then as soon as this Titan event has finished, you're probably looking at maximum 2 weeks until the next fusion is announced or even starts. So how do we make this more manageable for ourselves? How do we make it less tiring, less expensive, less exhausting? And I think while there's many different ways of taking this, I think the one thing that just kind of pops up in my mind every time I think about this, managing your resources. Now, fusions aren't that bad if you're prepared. Titan events, that's a slightly different story because it's basically, like I say, it's a bit like 2 fusions. But if there was one thing that I would just give to absolutely anybody playing this game, whether you're early game, mid game, late, end game, whatever, it's to always keep in the back of your mind that this game, Raid by Plarium, is ultimately, it's a bit of a psychological battle. At the end of the day, they are kind of a gambling company. They know all the tricks in the book to get in your head, give you just a massive case of FOMO, and constantly feel like you have to participate in everything in order to stay remotely relevant in the game. And I would just argue that's not true. There are many things you can be doing in Raid that aren't just going to be blowing your resources left, right, and center. Energy, it comes and goes. Dungeon divers get very expensive during these fusions, and I think that's probably what holds most people back. However, I think what ends up costing people the most amount of money is shards. So if we look at what's going on at the moment, we are today's Wednesday, the fusion, pretty much finished now. We're in CVC. Luckily, it's not a personal reward, but the biggest trick that they like to pull is a fusion ends and they chuck in a progressive chance summoning event. Now, luckily, I'm not overly screaming about any of the champions that are in here. Same with the Voids. I quite like the look of this Neve, Spear of Naressa. She looks cool, but, it's all just to make you just deplete your own resources, because if you've got depleted resources and a fusion comes along that you really want to do, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to have to pay for it. And they know this. They're really good at this. People give Plarium stick all the time, but I think a lot of that anger is directed the wrong way. If you just manage your energy, your silver, and your resources better, you're going to have a much easier time when it comes to fusion, and you're going to avoid that crazy burnout. So just right off the bat, shards. They are going to keep throwing progressive chance events. They don't really do guaranteeds anymore, which is, on one hand, it's a good thing. On the other, not so much. But you know what? Don't pull any shards. I know we get the rush. I know it's so great. I mean, I would love to drop a 10 pull here on the Void Shards. It would be so good to get a Void Legendary, but am I going to get one? Probably not. If I do get one, I'm just going to have to burn all my resources building it. You know what? It's going to be 10 books. It's going to be probably a couple of thousand energy to get the levels and all the masteries done. It's just everything will drain you of resources. So just pick your events. I'm going through here at the moment, and the one that's jumping off the page is the Dungeon Divers, because it's currently kind of in conjunction with the Event Dungeon Tournament while this loads. Yeah, Kurosa's Conquest Tournament. So a little bit of double dipping is always kind of handy to do. And also tailor what you do to you. For example, here we've got the Sand Devil Turn Attack. Do you need Sand Devil resources? Maybe you do. If you do, maybe that's where you should target. But do you need Sand Devil resources and tournament points for the Conquest Tournament? You've got to weigh all these things up, because otherwise what's going to happen is by the time this Titan event has finished and the new fusion is underway of starting, you're going to have no shards, you're going to have no silver, you've probably burned all your gems trying to do these tournaments. Just stop. You don't have to do it. And this is where the sort of psychological FOMO side of this game comes in. They are very, very good at making you feel like you should participate in absolutely everything. And maybe you don't have to. Especially for newer players, and especially for free-to-play. Fusion's finished for me. I'm going to pick a few events that I want to go for. I have been going for the Event Dungeon Tournament simply because this week in the clan shop, I had basically 1,000 energy. So I thought, you know what, let's drop 1,000 energy into that. There's nothing else going on. I don't want to spend shards. I certainly don't want to blow any more gems. I don't want to blow any more silver. Plus, there is an artifact enhancement coming up tomorrow. So I look at my account and I think, right, okay, I've got a lot of silver. I've got a hell of a lot of silver. Artifact enhancement, I can do that. It's going to probably cost me 10 mil silver, and then I can put it to bed. It's done. So save resources, skip events. Those two things are very much like in line with each other, because every event is going to cost you resources. And regarding, people like me on YouTube that are saying, hey, this is a good champion, it doesn't actually matter what we say. You've got to look at your account and think, what's going to benefit me? And if you don't know what's going to benefit you, sometimes the best thing to do when you don't know what to do is to just do nothing. So just play your dailies, do your thing, get your quest rewards for the day, and just keep saving, because, gems, silver, and shards, that's what get you through a fusion. And obviously time. Now, when they announce a fusion, one of the first things that goes through my head is, great, I've got to basically take on a second job for 2 weeks, one that I'm not getting paid for. But if there's one thing my one rule with this game now, and I appreciate I'm in a better position to do it than most, and that's just, maybe skip it. Maybe just skip it. I don't have to do it. I've already got a load of really good champions. I've now got a Force DPS dwarf thanks to the last fusion. I didn't go for the previous fusion. I don't think I went for the one before that. I went for Fabian. Just save your stuff. What it means is, when it comes to doing your fusion, you're going to take so much of the headache away. And just lastly, for everyone that is concerned about, the FOMO side of things, if I only do fusions, I'm never going to get any other champions. I would argue that's also not true. During the champion chase, was it champ chase? during the champion chase for the Tholin fusion, we had a 2x on Ancients. And I think during the Summon Rush, did we not have a 2x on Sacreds? You would be very surprised how many legendaries you'll pull alongside a fusion if that's the only time you pull. So, look, anyone that went for him, good for you. Have a break. If you want to go for this 5-star soul, go for it. But it is going to deplete pretty much everything you've got. When it comes to new fusions, just sit and think. Do I really need to do this? They announce it way in enough time for you to make your mind up. Loads of content creators are going to jump on and they're going to do test videos. Obviously, their numbers are going to be insane. Don't always take that for granted. But, you know, tailor fusions to you. And if you don't need to do something, don't do it. Because the more you do, the more you spend. The more you spend, the more you do. It's just this beautiful, perpetual cycle of just taking everything that you've got, and the onus is on you, not on them. It's kind of genius. It's kind of evil plan genius. And if I was Plarium, I would be doing exactly the same thing. So, congratulations on your fusion if you just did him. Take a break. Save your shards. There's probably nothing that's truly worth it coming up. Have a rest. Go outside and just enjoy, so that when it comes to the next fusion, you're ready and you totally got this. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, let me know. And until the next time, thank you for watching.